the temperature to 90 degrees. I'll make my stance. You take your chances on me.
Well, good evening. How about that? Getting all sorts of stupid stuff being sent just before we start all of this. Welcome along to Overtake.gg Single Seater Monday, and we're live at the German Grand Prix at Hockenheimring this time with Formula 1 1984. And I'm not alone. So alongside me I do have one of the drivers from last week who figured that driving wasn't really for him with these cars. Yeah. Right, as professional as I am, I have forgotten to put the sound of the game back on again. Right, we are still in the middle of practice, and as you can tell, it is rather wet on the track. Now let's have a look at the practice times. No, all of the practice times currently is set on the wet surface. Yeah, well, I say that. I don't actually think them are. Given that Edward and Daniel has put in 147 and Scott in third has a 153. So I think it might have been when the track was a bit less wet. Yeah, looks like it from the forecast at least. That'll make it even more interesting than it was last week when everything was dry. Because these cars are a handful in dry conditions. I can imagine them being even worse in wet. Yeah, I seem to remember that seeing that a couple of times last week. Or like Edward just did on our screen right now. Well, I thought you have the stage map. Listen, I'm a rally driver. You have the track map, and Edward is about to start a new lap, so I figured let's go on board and you can tell us what the corners are called, because I have no idea. Yeah, correct. North corner. Hold on. I don't get you on the stream for some reason. Oh, because it's because I'm stupid, probably, as usual. The volume mixer, is that the one? No. Oh yeah. Oh, because let's see. If we do this, then. Oh, but that. Let's see. That means that I need to. We'll do this, and then. Now, where the hell did I find the other one? Because I need to send all the sound into my headset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through the volume mixer?
Yeah, I thought it was, but it... Oh, no, more... Okay. And then I smacked myself in the face with the headset. Perfect. Right, and then we move rFactor 2 in here. Yeah. And then for some reason I can't hear any of the cars because we have moved on to qualifying. Okay, fine. So I need to work on the balance between the sounds then when we get to that point. Yeah. All right. So we have sounds on everyone. Oh, but the game is a lot louder now then, of course. Yep. I need to go here. If we go there, maybe. Here, there, and over there. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Shall we go online with Edward? Oh, on board with Edward again then? No, wrong.
They are going to drive for another 9 minutes on this call.
Yep.
I think there's trouble with sounds again. No game sound on stream.
Yeah, I know he said that, but I've just clicked it, so it takes a little bit of time to get there.
Yeah. Woo! They can hear me.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Right. Let's. Well, if you leave me now, yeah. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Some feedback on the sound mix, then, and then we're all set.
Yeah. It's been a long time since the last time we streamed together, so some minor little difficulties had to be conquered.
Yeah. Now, if I max the volume on you, then.
Yeah.
Like so. probably. I hope.
Well, I can hear you, so
Yeah,
then I guess we are ready to go.
I hope so.
So since most of you guys didn't hear us, or me, in the beginning, Roy tried to introduce me with the terrible Ferrari driver from the last race.
Yeah.
I DQ'd after don't know how many laps, but my internet connection didn't want me to race anymore, so then I went out of the race.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joachim.
Right, I think we're pretty much set then. Okay, so I guess Edward is about to start a new lap then?
Yeah, so we can try again on the
Yep,
track
track map.
layout.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the first corner, that's the North Curve. We're going through that one right now.
Yep.
And like I started to say earlier, this is the old layout of the track, so we are running the full 6.8 kilometers of the track with chicanes. The first edition of this track, it was roughly 8 kilometers. And we're going into the first of the 3 chicanes. This one is called Bremskurve 1, or 1.
Yeah.
The chicanes was made due to the extremely high pace, speed of the track. So the chicanes helped there. Now we are in Bremskurve 2, which also is one of the most difficult chicanes.
Yeah, that's also called Ostkurve, I think.
Yeah, the Ostkurve is after Bremskurve 2.
Yeah.
That's the right-hand corner.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And if we are to believe what Edward was writing in the forums, that's certain death in the Ostkurve.
Yeah, chicane there is hard.
Yeah. So we are now out on the straight after Ostkurve and going into Bremskurve 3. And that's the last of the 3 chicanes.
Yeah, we're through that already and into the motordrome.
Yeah, we are actually gone through the Agip curve and go into the Sachs curve now.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 corners is the Opel curve that's going right now, and Sud curve, or south corner, in this moment.
Yeah. We'll see where Edward will position himself then at the end of that lap. He is straight on to the top.
Yeah, 152.4.
So who else has put in the time? Daniel Uff has put in the time. He is second on the grid currently with a 154.9. So that's 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, and it's not so much distance down to the 3rd place, which is Steve.
Yep.
He has 155.059, so it's actually under 1/10.
Yeah,
of a second.
0.082 seconds.
Yeah.
Simon Bacon is in 4th with a 159.3, so he's 4 seconds behind Steve.
Yeah. And the last one who has made a lap for the qualifying so far, that's Michel van Lieshout, and he's done a 2:00.11.
Yep.
As we said, that's Scott put in a time.
Yep, Scott Deakin slides into 2nd position with a 153.9. So 1.5 seconds then behind Edward and 1 second ahead of Daniel.
It's good times. It's close.
Yep.
I would say. It's a long track and it's difficult conditions. The weather forecast is minimizing the rain, as I can tell. But yeah, still difficult. It's wet track.
We're watching Kreshnik Halili, who is about to complete his lap currently. 37.2 in the middle, 44. So it's not fast enough for a pole position, but should be somewhere in the middle, I think.
He has the fastest sector 2 so far.
Possibly. Well, slots into 5th position with a 157.5.
Yeah.
As we go with just under 3 minutes left.
I can see the live timing without you going out of the screen time for the track.
Yeah, I also do have some live timing thingies. Oops.
Yeah.
On the broadcast overlay.
Yeah.
Program.
I can't tell if someone is going faster at the moment.
One who's closest to put in a time, I think, might be Ole, who is, well, he's putting green sector times on sector 1 and 2, so personal best, but that's, of course, his first lap.
It is his first lap, so
yep.
Yeah. So he's sticking with the Norwegian traditions, qualifying in the lower sections.
Yeah. Past teammate Scott there, who was facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
And across the line into 6th position, 158.7.
Not bad.
That is, of the current lap times, it's the fastest sector 3, but it's not the overall fastest sector 3.
Yeah, there is actually something wrong with my sector timing, so I don't see sector 3.
No, you see only sector 1 and 2, and then the overall time, I guess.
No, I can see the overall time and sector 3 is a section, but there's only 2 or 3 drivers who have a time there.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. For now, every driver has set a time.
Yep.
And those who are on the track have started their lap will be able to finish it.
Yep. And we're watching Edward, but he is now doing a practice pit stop.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. He was quite a bit behind the overall, or the fastest lap time he had. So, sure, why not go in there? We've missed that Kresh Nikalili. Kresh has gone up to 3rd position.
Yeah, 154.7. So he's absolutely in there with the faster guys now.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds behind Edward, but only 8 tenths behind Scott. 2 tenths ahead of Danilov.
And as you were talking about the pit stops, this race pit stop strategy will be quite important, since we will have changing weather.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if the track starts to dry up, then it's gonna be some discussions of when to go to slicks.
Yeah. One of the things we noticed last week on Imola, even though we were driving full dry track, the tires got very hot, and you locked them up, and then you got flat spots. And believe me, my arms didn't like driving with flat spots.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've driven a little bit in the past with that.
New leader.
As Danilov goes fastest by almost 3 tenths of a second. Sorry.
Yeah. That's a landslide.
Yeah. Now Edward is on an out lap. So he won't be putting in a time now, and Kresh is also in the pits.
Yeah.
So that is qualifying done and dusted. I don't think Edward is putting in a valid lap time.
As far as I can see, it's not counting.
No, well, and he's 2 seconds behind on the...
Well, he has sector times.
Yeah, he's 2 seconds behind Daniel in the 2nd sector, so...
Yeah.
Just taking the checkered flag. So, I need to set starting order in the overlay thingy.
So that's quality. I'll just note the quality positions here.
Yep, that can be good. I'll take you through it then. Danilov is in pole position then by 2 tenths of a second ahead of Edward Rocket. Scott Deakin in 3rd, 1.7 behind. Kreshnik Khalili, and then everything just all the times just wiped off my board. Perfect.
Yeah, but I have the positions.
Yep.
So.
Positions are the most important. Kresh in 4th position, Steve Legale in 5th, Ole Marius Myhrvold in 6th, Simon Bacon in 7th, Pat Eaton in 8th, and Michel van Lieshout in 9th position. And we are missing 3 drivers from the grid compared to who were signed up earlier today.
Yeah.
And now it's only 10
Daniel
people.
Kent has left the race.
Yep. Christian Kempf is the one we're missing who's not on the track.
Yeah, he never signed in.
He's on the list though. Well, anyway, we are into the race session now.
Yeah.
5 minutes to leave the pits and 2.5 minutes from pit. The pit closes until you have to be on the grid for the lineup.
Yeah. And if you want to drive more than one lap, you have to go through the pit lane.
Yep.
Unless you want the game to register you for your grid position.
So riding on board with Steve Legalena on his way around the track.
Yeah. So this part before the race is good because you get to warm up your tires.
Yep.
And the brakes.
Yep.
But you might miss with the fuel calculations.
Yeah, that is important. If you're gonna do more than one lap, you have to remember to add fuel for it.
Yeah.
And the good thing with the mod though is that, or with this reconnaissance lap, is that even whether you do one lap or you do several laps, the tire heat and the heat in the brakes will stay in them when you go to the grid, even if you go there from the first lap. So the tires won't get cold if you go straight to the grid compared to those who do several laps or go out of the pits at the latest possibility.
Yeah.
And Steve is going straight to the grid. Sorry?
And 1 minute and 1 minute 34 now left, and Ole is just going out of the pits.
Yep. So Scott and Steve is on their position on the grid.
Yeah.
Now let's see if I can do this. Maybe? Let's see. That's the wrong button.
We also have Pat on the grid.
Ooh. Where are we looking now? Oh. Why isn't the move camera thingy working? That's one of the things that has gotten disconnected after the or troublesome after the steering wheel problems I had last week.
While you are adjusting the cameras, I'll let our audience know that I am actually also listening to the Discord chat with the drivers.
Ooh.
And I can tell you there is already drama. There are people who didn't know that you had to fill the car with fuel before you go out on the track.
Oops.
So we might have people starting from the pits.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see Daniel Ruff is in the pits still.
Yeah, and now the pit is closed.
Yeah, so he's...
So this means Daniel Uff will start from the pit lane.
Oh... That's not good for a pole position.
No. But then again, he will be cleared from all the chaos.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think Edward is the last car to go to his grid spot, being blocked by Ole on the way there.
Yeah, Michel is also out on the track, I can see. Michel is going through the Saxkurve now. And we have German friends in the chat, Roy.
Yeah, I can tell. Hello, Alex. Welcome
Guten
along for
Tag.
the ride.
He joined the local race.
Well, in some ways, he did.
I'm sorry if I just suddenly start laughing sometimes, but as you know, I can hear the guys.
Yeah.
Now we're ready to race.
Yep. The flag is up.
And we're green.
And somebody stalled on the grid. Pat Eaton was left standing. Well, Crash goes around Edward into the lead on the outside, but he can't hold on to it. Just dropped down behind Steve as well.
Still on the track.
Yep.
And Daniel is out
Yep,
on the track.
he's released too.
Yep. Oh!
That's a big overshoot into the first chicane. And Crash is a lot faster on the exit, but he's got nowhere to go as both Steve and Edward is on on each side of the road. So suddenly Steve is leading now ahead of Edward and Crash.
Yeah, and we're going into the second chicane. This is a tight one. This is the one they all are dreading.
Yep.
But they got through.
Yeah, seems like everyone got through cleanly.
Yeah.
And Ole is up to 5th position.
And Daniel has spun.
Whoops.
But he's back on the track, keeps going.
Yeah, I thought the gap up from him up to Pat was a bit big. It's now 9 seconds currently.
Yeah. He spun right after the second chicane, but he stayed on the track. I can't tell if he got any damage on the car, but it looks like he made it okay.
Oh, and Edward and Crash is close together, and Edward goes back through up to 2nd position.
It's a close one.
But all of this has given Steve a gap of over a second, 1.4.
I think Daniel might have some trouble because he's actually quite far behind.
Yeah, it's still 9 seconds behind. And Michel is past Crash now. Zooming past in the slipstream.
Yeah. Driving side by side.
Yeah. Managed to hold on into the chicane. And now the teammates Ole and Scott is all over. Yeah, they're fighting for survival.
Yeah. Just saw Ole clipping the curbs. That's one of the things I heard the guys talking about during practice. The curbs are really, really hard on this track. So if you didn't have soft enough suspension, you almost got thrown out of the track.
Yeah. I can imagine they're quite tall as well, the curbs.
Yeah. And also the track itself, the tarmac is real bumpy. So I heard Steve complain about having real issues with the car due to that. Oh, someone spun again? No, that's wrong. That's what. No spins. Just me watching.
And I do see that Daniel has lost a second to...
Oh, Edward is off.
Whoops. And I'm hitting the older
Drops down
buttons.
to 6th position.
Is it possible to get the replay of it? Yeah, it is. Let's see what he does. He's always just onto... goes slightly onto the grass,
Yeah.
turning into the south corner. Nothing major, but enough to lose a bucket load of positions.
Yeah. And now he's chasing Scott. And as far as I can tell, Scott doesn't like to have him behind him.
No, yeah. It is always difficult to have one of the fastest guys behind you.
Oh yeah. I know.
So Steve Legale is leading the way. He is putting in the best... Oh, it's that Scott.
Yeah, Scott is in the wall.
Did catch that just outside of the camera because we were... Oh, no. Pat was going around Scott on the outside and I think he was clear of him and tried to turn in and clipped Scott. But Scott is waiting.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if he touched him.
Yeah, there was a touch between them.
Okay.
While all of that is going on, Edward is past Ole.
Yep. Ole had some small problems in the same corner as his teammates spun.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh, and Michelle is off, and again...
Yep. Just dropped 3 positions.
Now let's look at the replay of that. He pretty much did exactly the same thing that Edward did, but a little bit faster, and he actually touched the wall. And then, just as he got back onto the asphalt, he spun off the track again.
Yeah.
But
with all this drama, that means Steve is currently leading with almost 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, he is putting in. He has put in the fastest lap time of the race too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, has it stopped raining?
It says 0% rain on the board, but it's still wet on the track.
Yeah, but once it stops raining, then
yeah, Edward is in trouble again.
yeah. And well, with all this stuff going on with Scott and Pat, that means that Daniel has now gone by and is up to 6th position.
Yeah.
It's only 6 seconds behind Michelle currently too, so yeah. Now, there is quite a big gap between all of the the drivers right now.
Yeah. I think Crush is in a good pace now because he has caught up with Steve with almost a second.
Yeah, almost a full second over Sector 2. Dropped it 3/10 in Sector 1, but is almost a full second faster in Sector 2 and also half a second faster in Sector 3.
That's just a confirmation with what I told you about in the quali. He was the fastest Sector 2 in quali, so he really figured something out there.
Yeah, and I can see everybody behind him is even faster on Sector 3, so I don't know if the track is really starting to dry out in some of the important places.
Yeah, it might be in sections, it might be drier than others. The fastest sector 2 time on this lap was actually Michel.
Yep.
He's also one of the fastest in sector 3.
Yeah, and I can see everyone going through sector 1 now is putting in a new best sector 1 time in this race session. One after the other. So Steve went to 46 second there, and then just faster is Crash, and just faster than that is Ole, and then just faster than that again is Michel.
Yeah. I can see Pat and Daniel is driving quite close to each other now. It's actually so close that Pat has been trying to drive on the grass a couple of times.
The teammates are going at it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I would bump draft in these cars.
No. I wouldn't recommend it.
Crash is under 4 seconds behind Steve now.
Yep, and it's only 2 seconds between Crash and Ole too. Ole was
And
almost a second faster on sector 2 and a full second faster in sector 3. Putting in the best lap time of the race is Edward with a 1:55.772.
I just got a glimpse of Michel having some trouble in Saxkurve, but I think just went wide.
Yeah, I see his sector time is 8 seconds slower than everybody else.
Yeah, and the lap time is also 8 seconds slow. So.
Yeah, it looks like Daniel has pulled a little bit of a gap on Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat is spinning and into the wall coming out of the north curve. Oh, okay, fine. Simon Bacon got by before he got far enough over on the track.
And while you are watching the drama behind in the grids, I can tell you that Crash has lost over a second to Steve.
Yeah, yes.
And Ole is right behind him.
Yep. We're in with that battle now. Let's go on board with Mirvalda. Really attacking the curbing.
Yeah. You could see his car jumping earlier, and I don't think I would do that too many times.
Yeah. There's something about mechanical sympathy that...
He doesn't have.
Yeah. Let's put in another purple second sector Ole, so fastest of everyone in sector 2.
Yeah.
Goes through with a 1:55.9, so not quite the fastest lap time of the race, but it's in the same ballpark.
They are still losing time to Steve.
Yeah,
So has Steve found another gear?
possibly. Oh, look at the slipstream.
Oh.
Will he be far enough ahead before the chicane, though? Ooh, will he outbreak himself into the chicane? That was mighty close. Oh, but Crash has a better exit.
Yeah, because Ole still has trouble with his gear shifter.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, his second gear is really troublesome. So most of the times he won't get it into second gear. I saw some chatter earlier where he was told to lengthen the first gear and shorten the third.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was his tactic for this one.
No, it doesn't look like it. Pat Eaton is in the pits, by the way, so might be a tire change. Oh, Crash is not quite far enough ahead to get by this time either. I'm looking at the board. I see that Michel van Lieshout has the fastest lap of the race currently with a 1:55.224.
Yeah, 7 tenths ahead of Steve.
Yeah, and we can actually now start to see a dry line forming at some places on the track.
Yeah.
Then comes the question, when will we be over? Well, when will it be the best to go to the slick tires?
Yeah. And also, will the entire track have a dry line?
Yeah. Speaking of pit stops, Myhrvold is on his way in. Pat is back out on the track now.
Yep.
So Ole is on his way into the pits. Is it possible to see now? Yeah, he goes from rain tires to slicks.
Yeah, because you can see the sign on the tire.
Yeah. Awesome. Now that will be interesting to watch. Comes back out again in 5th position, just behind Michel van Lieshout. And still 11 seconds ahead of Danilov.
Just watching the Sec 2 times now to see if Pat made some progress with those tires. The other guys are driving 38, 37.
Yeah, there is a bit of a battle for 7th position between Scott Deakin and Simon Bacon.
Yep.
Simon is through now. Going in towards the first of the chicanes.
39.1 on Sector 2 for Pat. So I can't really tell if it works for now.
No, Daniel has a 38.4. So it's not quite there yet. Okay, here's a question. What kind of tires are these guys on? Simon is on slicks and Scott is on wets. And Scott had a slight, half spin. Pat is on slicks. Steve in the lead obviously is still on wets. Crash in 2nd is on wets. Edward in 3rd is on wets. Michel in 4th is on wets. So Ole in 5th is the first one with slick tires on.
Yeah.
Danilov is on slick tires. Simon Bacon is on slicks. And Pat Eaton is on slicks. And Scott Deakin is on wets. And as we say that, Edward is in the pits. No, wrong button. That's the one, and I wanted to look at Edward.
Oh, Michel clipped the grass. That means Ole can go past.
Yep. But it looks like Michel has lower...
A little bit more speed.
Yeah, a bit lower downforce on the car maybe, so it got a bit more straight line speed.
Yeah. And also, with the gearing problems for Ole, he might have better acceleration.
Yeah, Michel would have, yeah.
Yeah.
Edward is actually... No, he's on slicks. Never mind. Never mind. It just took a little bit of time for the game to update it.
Yep.
So Ole has the fastest overall last sector of the race, and he also has the fastest overall first sector of the race.
Yeah.
Now
it's
then.
this lap.
Yep.
45.2.
Yep, indeed. And I had a 30.5 over the last sector. Was having a little bit of a look, but couldn't quite get by Michel this time either. And again, very close by, close behind. Oh, a bit of a wiggle. Oh, and Michel is off.
Yeah. And Crash is going to the pits.
I looked away for 1 second and then Michel went off. What happened? Oh no, I think Michel just outbraked himself into the motordrome middle corner.
Like Crash is finished in the pits, leaving it in 4th position. Not too bad.
No.
See Edward catching up, but Edward has driven a couple laps on the tires now.
Yep.
But now you really can see the dry line.
Yeah, it is more of a continuous dry line. It is, well, you can say under the trees, not fully Perhaps. Oh, straight on in the chicane. Oh, and Michelle was already.
Holy!
Looked at Crash going off in chicane, but I think he got distracted by Michelle there.
As far as I can tell from the chatter, it's those wet spots under the trees.
Yeah. Oh, Michelle just really outbraked himself into that chicane.
Yeah.
Huh. Outbraked himself in a way in the and into a spin. And while all of this is going on, Ole is still putting in new fastest sectors all over the place.
Check that lap time.
Yeah, 1:53.4 is the current fastest lap of the race, but his sector time now is even better.
Yeah, he's 2 seconds ahead of everyone else on the lap time.
Yeah. And Michelle now has the best second sector, and Pat has the best third sector.
Yeah.
So and off again.
He might have cooked the tires.
That is Michelle. Yeah, the tires must be gone on that car. So the gamble on staying out has not paid off for him.
Nope.
It is still somewhat paying off for Steve, who is in the lead by, 14 seconds.
Yeah. If I were Steve, I would go in and change tires now.
Yeah.
While he's still ahead.
Yep. Fully agree, because the last time around he lost 4 and almost 5 seconds to Ole. So that 13-second gap, that will disappear rather quickly.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say
really
that.
hear the strategies being discussed now.
Yeah. As we jump back to Edward and Crash in third and fourth.
Oh, Steve was off the track, but he got put straight back on.
Yeah.
And we have Scott in the pits.
Yep.
And as far as I can tell, I think Steve's going another lap.
Ooh, it's a bold strategy. Is he waiting for the rain to return?
They are talking about it, but I'm not sure.
What?
It still says 0% chance of rain.
In the game or on the forecast?
In the game.
Yeah.
I can check the forecast.
That would be cool. And we have a new well, as I said, that we have another new fastest lap of the race. Ole Marius Myhrvold did put in a 1:50.6, but then Edward Rocket got in with a 1:50.3. And Steve Legale in the lead of the race had a 1:57.8, so that's 7 seconds lost on that lap. And the gap is now down to 8 seconds between number 1 and number 2.
The weather forecast says in 10 minutes it's supposed to start raining.
10 minutes, that's another 5 laps. Well, yeah. Question then is if the slick tire is 7 seconds faster per lap, will it or how quickly will he catch up, and will he be able to make a gap? And will Steve be able to catch that back up again when if the rain is falling down again?
Yeah. Oh, Pat is off the track. Just went off in the Saxkurve.
Just ahead of the leading 2 guys.
Yeah.
So we are currently looking at Myhrvold in second position.
Oh, Crash is off. Crash is off. He went out in the Agit kurve.
Watch a quick replay of that. Yeah, just completely outbraked himself. Oh, hard into the barriers actually on the outside of that corner. Did well to hold on and not spin the car while going back onto the track.
And I can tell in the dry grass that's difficult, and this is wet grass.
Yeah. Well, the good thing that with the damage is to set to a low percentage, to a very reduced percentage, so to keep it a bit better.
Sorry, I just heard Steve.
Yeah,
Come on, rain!
Yeah. Well, it's half a second between him and Ole now, so
Yeah.
the inevitable lead change is about to happen.
Yeah. I can see Steve is driving in the wet spots to get cold tires.
Yeah.
Or cooling for the tires is better.
Yep.
But now Ole is right on his tail and is stressing Steve, so we might see Steve do a mistake.
Slipstreaming down.
Oh, and he's passed.
That's a bit of a squeeze by Steve, but not enough. It didn't scare him enough.
You could see Steve try to defend the line while he still was trying to cool down the tires, but for now he has two choices. He can still continue try to wait out and see if the rain comes back, or he could go in and change those wet tires to something that gives him traction and keep Edward behind him.
Yeah, and then he spin.
Then he spun.
Yeah. So that's Scott and Edward. Scott is a lap down, of course. So
Yeah.
Scott and Edward passed, and Steve is...
He's going into the pits.
He's crawling into the pits. That's Crash past him as well. Is he struggling to find the right tires on the pit menu thingy?
Yeah, he might be requesting the pit stop. I feel good for him.
Yeah, but now then is the big question: is he gonna go back on a new set of wets and hope for more rain, or will he be on putting on slicks?
Yeah, because that's the question now. When will the rain come back? We know it will come back, but when?
Yeah, no, he goes for slicks.
Yeah. We are currently on 65% rain in the weather forecasts, and in roughly 5 minutes or so it goes up to 75.
Yeah. But then again, as the track is currently, it is a lot more time to be gained to gain with the dry, with the slick tires.
But we are still not past half point of the race, so...
No, but we are getting there rather rapidly. And speaking of rapidly, Michel van Lieshout is closing in on Steve then after the pit stop there.
Yep.
It's only 0.7 of a second between them.
And also Crash has put in a new fastest lap.
Yeah. New fastest lap of the race is 150.315.
I am amazed how good these guys are with these cars on a wet track.
Yeah, and well, we've seen a couple of incidents, but not as badly as we kind of would have expected.
Michelle is right behind Steve now.
Hi, Paddy.
Hey, Paddy, you should be driving.
Yeah, you're missing. Oh, Steve is off. Steve is off.
Oh.
He did exactly the same as Edward did. And as Michelle did a couple of laps earlier.
As most of them have done.
Yeah, well, yeah, fair enough. Well, that make the fight back even harder. And just like that, everybody is separated by 4 seconds or more.
Yeah.
That being said, last lap of Ole was a 157.8 and last lap of Edward was a 150.4.
Ole just passed Pat, so he's now 1 lap behind.
Yep. And Daniel Uff was our pole sitter. He is currently up to 4th position then after starting from pit lane
Yeah.
due to miscalculating the fuel before the start of the race.
Yeah, and it actually turned out he didn't miscalculate it.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, he misunderstood the you know, what's it called, you know, in the
Instructions.
menu.
Oh yeah, and it
Yeah.
has started raining. It has started raining again.
Oh,
Now Steve can be angry that he didn't put on a new set of wets when he was in the pits. Because that would have been amazing now. Well,
Yeah.
not exactly right now, but in a couple of minutes' time, when it really gets wet on the track.
Yeah, because that's that rain in the game. It says so now 7%. It increased from 0 in just maybe 10 seconds. Oh, I would really watch Ole now and check his lap times if he is really hindered by the rain.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, the tension in the chat has begun.
Yeah. The discussions of what to do when.
This is nail biting now.
Yeah. There is
Who
no.
will swap first?
Yeah. There's
Simon
no.
is in.
Yep. Simon Bacon is in the pits. There is no spray coming from any of the cars yet, so the track isn't wet enough really to put on anything, any wets yet. And as I say that, the fastest lap of the race now was this lap by 148.004 by Ole Marius Myhrvold.
Yeah, you know, this is water cooling for the engines.
Yeah. 148.9 is the lap time that Edward put in. He's for
Oh, Ole
Straight
outtracked
on.
himself.
straight on. Well, that's a puddle that's been coming up again.
Will this give him penalty?
Yeah, most likely not, because he lost a lot of time going through there.
Yeah. Oh, Daniel is out.
No, DNF.
What happened?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
While you check that, I will watch Ole and Edward and check what happens.
Yeah, no, he just came to a halt after the first corner.
I heard him talking in Discord, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. Remember last race, he blew the engine?
Yeah, I think he
Could
did
have
the
done
same.
it again?
Yeah, I think he did the same. The engine just stopped going into the first corner of the track.
Yeah. That's such a shame. Oh, Simon is out.
Now, what did Simon do?
He was still in the pits.
Oh, he went straight on in the what is the first chicane. Let's go on board and have a listen. Yeah, it might have been an engine for him too, because the engine sound just disappeared as he locked up the brakes into that chicane. And oh, and Edward is in the pits.
Yep. Quick pit stop.
Quick pit stop, and it looks like a set of slicks still on that car. Interesting.
Huh.
That is interesting.
I could have sworn I heard him say earlier on Discord that he wanted to prepare the pit stop with wet tires. But I can't understand he would put on slicks and drive in the wet parts of the track.
No, there is no threads on the tires on the car, from what I can see.
I can hear him now. He's gambling.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see it's still dry line and it's only 9% rain. So, yeah, it could be we can get a dry line until the end of the race. But
It also do depend on on what the weather is doing.
yeah, the forecast says that it should pick up the longer you get out in the evening. But it's local, so it could stay away.
Have a quick look at the weather radar. Well, I would have looked at the weather radar if it had worked. Okay, never mind that.
I can check the radar and you can check the race. I got the radar to work earlier.
Yeah, okay, fine. And the leader is in the pits.
On the radar we have, I would say like 10-15 kilometers big cloud section. It's light drizzle.
Oh, Mirval goes for wets. Mirval in the pits. He puts on wets.
He made a mistake in the pits, he says.
Okay.
Just have to listen. Okay. No, it's not so bad. He drove into the pits without requesting the pit stop.
Yeah, okay.
So it was just a longer pit stop.
But now it shows that there's threads on Edward's car too, on the tires. Maybe it just was a bit slow to update.
Yeah, might be.
Simon says engine failure, yeah. Oh, and Edward spins.
Oh! Michelle is in the pit, Pat is in the pit.
What did Edward do? Did he hit the... Yeah, he did hit the curbing and was a bit too eager on the throttle on the way out.
Yeah. I can safely say he's gut with himself.
He's not pleased with that, I guess, no?
Well, yeah.
Now,
So I'm looking at the weather radar. That cloud sections, which is over Mannheim right now, it has a small section in the center of the clouds, which says heavy rain.
Yep.
But it looks like it would go clear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, from what I can tell, Steve and... Oh, Scott has stopped.
Ooh.
So he stopped on the way into the pits. No, Steve and Michelle is still on slicks. Now let's see. Have a listen.
Yeah, but you remember Steve just had the pit stop like 3 laps before the rain came.
Yeah.
So if the track stays dry enough, you could push out a few more laps before changing. But the rain indicator in the game is actually going down.
Yeah. So I think that is what Steve and Michelle is waiting for, the rain to stop.
Yeah.
So that they can be, so that they're suddenly on the better tire again. It did sound like Scott's car just stopped on the way into the pits, just before entering the pit lane.
Yeah.
It's still standing there, struggling to get it refired again. But it didn't sound like the engine just failed like on the other cars.
As far as I can tell, the rev or the tachometer, it says it's on 3000 RPMs, and it is revving. Looks like you can't get it in gear. Here it goes.
At the same time, we move up ahead to the battle between Steve and Michelle. Michelle is on his way through.
Yeah.
Because that gap closed rather rapidly, so I wonder if Steve had something going on there.
Yeah.
Like a half spin or something.
Straight through the pits and is out on the track again. What on earth was happening there?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe he was saving fuel. and short-filled for the race and then stopped to save fuel.
Oh, Edward is off the track. At the same place as earlier.
In the same chicane?
No, not the chicane. It was in the Saxkurve.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah.
I should have taken notes on how many times each driver was off the track.
Well, you wouldn't do anything other than putting down who was off the track.
You can see yellow flags in the sector where Ole is, but who is off the track?
That's a good question. Let's see. Scott. Scott is parked up again at the exit of the chicane there. For some reason.
He has trouble changing the tires in the selector, so he is trying to figure out how to do it.
Oh.
But now we're up to 19% rain, and Steve is in the pits.
Well, this race has been throwing us all different kinds of stuff all the time here.
It sure is entertaining, though.
Yeah. It goes from dry to wet to dry to wet again. I'm losing track of all of this.
I imagine Steve is still gutted about those 5 laps in the dry.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. He is on wets now.
Yeah.
And we are within the final 10 laps of the race.
Yeah. And Scott has figured out how to change tires.
That's good. Means that he will still be driving then.
Yeah, I think he will be driving soon. He had good help in his teammate.
Yeah.
And I'll update the radar.
Well, it's good that we can use that the race admin for something too then.
Yeah.
Or one of the race admins.
Okay, radar says we are in a dry part now. Should be dry, less rain for a few moments.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh.
there is a big rain cloud coming from the west. And if that hits the track within the last couple of laps, we will have a boat race.
Oh. Goody.
So each lap now is roughly 150-ish.
Yeah, 154, 155.
Yeah, and we have 9 laps left.
8, yep.
Yeah, so at least 15, maybe 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we are going to have a big rainstorm before the end of this race.
Yeah, well, staying on slicks is not an option then anymore.
Scott is going into the pits right now. Let's see if he gets on those wet tires.
Speaking of wets, yeah, Michelle is also on wets now. The only downside to all of this unfolding like it has, it means that it's now 15, 16 seconds between the closest cars on the track.
Yeah. But remember, many of these guys have driven many laps on the same tires.
Yeah.
So I guess they have to pit at least one more time, depending on how the rain comes.
Yeah, true. Depending on flat spots and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And the durability of the rain tire. One thing is that the slick tire was very durable, but that doesn't mean that the rain tire is as durable. Will be able to hold on for that long.
Yeah, and also this track has a very rough surface, so it will tear on the tires.
Yeah, especially with all the bumps everywhere, especially in the braking zones, will really make some decent flat spots.
I really like this real weather.
Yeah,
It gives a interesting twist.
yeah, it does. It gives some unpredictability.
Yep. Oh, Steve is off.
Oh.
After that phenomenal start of the race, Steve has really dropped further and further behind now.
What did he do? He just outbraked himself going into the motordome there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, had a brilliant start to the race and waited a bit too long to come in and change tires.
Yeah.
The weather didn't play ball. Oh, and Edward has spun again because now it's only 4 seconds between him and Crash.
Yep. And Crash is a really fast driver.
Yep.
But will he keep his head cool and stay calm and just put in the pace he needs to catch up to Edward?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
And also, how is his tires? Because I don't remember when he swapped.
Me neither.
Didn't he swap quite early?
Possibly.
I should have written this down.
Yeah. And I just remember that I've got more tools in this overlay thingy.
Yeah.
Try to slap some of that on. Yeah, well, Edward is faster than Crash is. Just pulled out a little bit of a gap again.
Yeah.
Oh, and Crash understeers a lot into the first chicane.
Might be the cooked tires. Oh, it's no rain.
Oh, it stopped raining again. Yeah, it has. For now.
For now. It's really obvious that Edward spun this lap because he was almost 20 seconds behind Ola on one lap.
Yep. And Michelle behind Crash was another 3 seconds faster than Crash again on that lap.
Yep.
But it's 11 seconds between them, so the gap is still too big to be a threat.
Yeah, at least with the normal driving.
Yep. And we are out on lap number 25.
I'll just go check the radar quick.
Yeah.
When will we see the rain? Wait.
Will it dry out and will stay dry until the end? Then I think staying on the wets anyway will be the right thing to do.
Yeah. I actually think the weather is going to go clear off the track because at the moment the weather radar says 35% instead of 65 like it was earlier. And the forecast has been pushed until midnight.
Yeah.
So I think we might have to live with a dry end of the race.
Yep. Yeah, the gap between Edward and Crash is now up to 7 seconds, so
yep.
It goes more to towards the status quo rather than
Crash has spun.
Yeah. And again.
Holy. Where is Michel?
Oh, he's coming up. No, he's still a bit too far behind. But that was only 11 seconds between them a couple of laps ago or last lap. So what has Michel done? He had a very slow. He had a very slow sector 3 on the previous lap.
Yeah.
Was he in for a new set of tires, maybe?
Pat is in the pits. I think he just kept the same tires. I can't really tell. And Edward is in the pits.
Oh, there we go. What is Edward gonna do?
Quick pit stop there.
Yeah, it looks like he's still on wets. Did he put on a new set of wets? Maybe? Well, he had time to do that.
Oh, I just heard Edward. He had a 0-second pit stop with no changes.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, we've had a switch.
Yeah.
Because Crash is in the pits.
But it doesn't say so here.
Am I on replay?
He is in the pits, but the menu doesn't say he's in the pits.
No.
Strange.
Yeah.
Might be like stop and go penalty.
No, but he did reverse as well there, so I do wonder if he might have missed the pit box or something's not going on. Hi Tarja. Yeah, it is rFactor 2. A race that keeps on throwing new stuff at us all the time.
Yeah.
And now Steve has gone past Crasher too.
There is a yellow flag on the start-finish straight, and it might be because of a crash.
Yeah, because he's the only one who's standing still around there currently.
There has to be something wrong here. Did he miss the pit exit, no entry, or did he miss his pit box and just can't get it to read that he's there?
I got no idea. I'll try to have a look on the replay.
Oh, someone is coming into the pits.
Edward.
Edward. Yeah, he's going in for his change that he missed. And Crash spun in the pits.
Yeah, he spun from the final corner and into the pits.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's not registered as a pit stop as such.
Yeah, and also he spun on his way out of the pits as well.
Oh.
So Edward is out, still in second place.
Yeah.
But Michel is...
Yeah, he's
close
hot on
by.
his heel. He's hot on his heels, yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm not driving myself. These cars are really not my cup of tea, to be honest.
Not mine either.
But it's fun to be here for the show. Oh, and Michelle goes straight off in the chicane.
Shortcuts are not allowed.
Lawn mowing. So oh, wait. No, he is on wets. It just looked like he was on slicks
Yeah.
for a while there. But it do look on my screen like Edward is on slicks.
He might be.
Ha. Interesting.
Also, Ole is catching Steve.
Yeah.
He is right on his tail. Well, not right on his tail. He's 2 corners behind him.
That means that he's lapped all but the top 4. Well, 3 cars that he hasn't put a lap down, and
Could this mean we will see a Norwegian victory on this race?
oh, and Edward is off. Edward is off.
Oh! And Michel is past him.
Yeah. Edward put a wheel on the grass there.
Yeah. Crash is in the pits again. So is also Scott.
Is Crash in for the drive-through for speeding in pit lane?
No, I think he's actually in for a pit stop this time.
In for an actual pit stop, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you could speed in the pit lane this race.
Nah.
If it's like last race where we had like 400 kilometer pit speed limit.
Yep. Yeah, that might be it. Chris is back out of the pits.
Yep. Scott is still in the pits, so oh, he's going out now. Might have been some damage repair as well. Ole is going out for his 28th lap now.
Yep. Oops, I did hit the wrong button there. Edward is having a horrible time really with the with the slicks.
Yeah. Well, it should dry up more now that we're going into the last couple of laps, but will it dry up enough for him to have a better grip?
Yeah, it need to be really dry really quickly for him to get up to get close enough to
Michel.
to catch the gap between him and Michel. Yeah, because it's already 7 seconds, and it seems like the gap is still growing.
Yeah.
Ole is on his lap number 29 currently.
Oh yeah, because I see what's completed. Yeah, sorry.
Yep. That is what I'm used to too. So when I looked at the same numbers on my other screen here now last time around, that's why I got fooled by that last lap and not last lap.
So he has one more lap after this one.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, then I can say it won't be a wet race finish. Well, there are actually only the second or third position that has some sort of battle at the moment. So I think we can say, unless there is some big offs or engine failures, this will be the result over the finish line.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But you know, commentators curse.
Yeah. Well, Mirval is starting the last lap of the race.
Yes. And I think he knows that we need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve was off the track for a moment. He was looking for Ole and he went off onto the grass. Great commentating by Edward. You know that straight has a curve in it. Well, I can tell you Edward is regretting the slicks.
Yeah, he is slightly faster than Michel right now, but it is again too little too late.
Yeah, the distance hasn't shrinked enough.
Nope.
So unless Michel does a major mistake on the last lap, I don't think Edward has the pace to catch up to him.
No, had it been one more lap, then it might have been, because we can see the dry line is really starting to form again.
Yeah, he was 1.6 seconds faster than Michel on the last lap.
So then, Mirval through the motordrome thingy for the last time.
Kurve. And Opel kurve. Which means he has Sydkurve for the south corner. And then we are on to the finish.
And across the line to a commanding win actually in the end. After starting quite a distance down the grid, didn't he?
Yeah, he started so far down. I didn't make time to try to note it down before we started the race.
Yeah.
So.
I think he started like 6th or something like that.
I can check.
And
yeah, I think he was behind Steve, because Steve was Q5.
Yep.
He was not in the top 5.
And suddenly my screen just turned itself off and on again.
Yeah, I can tell you that Michel is going into the Saxkurve at the moment, and there is 4 seconds down to Edward, but Edward is not on the track. So Michel going into the Opel curve.
Yeah, 3 seconds between them now, so Edward is catching back up. So had it been one more lap, then this could have been really interesting.
Yeah. So second position for Michel and third for Edward.
Yep. 2.4 seconds between them as they cross the line.
Yeah. Then we are waiting for Steve.
Yeah. And I guess Crash is about to cross the finish line. Yes, he has done so right now.
Yeah, he's 1 lap behind.
Yep.
Steve is going into the final corners now.
Scott is over the line in 7th position.
And into the final corner, the grand old man, Steve Legaye, going over the finish at this moment in
the
4th position.
Yep. So that's up 1 position then from where he started. So there's that.
But still,
yeah,
you have to be gutted after that phenomenal start. I believe at one point he had almost 25 seconds lead.
Yeah, I was well over 20 seconds.
Yeah. So, but that's the strategy. If you wait too long with the dry tires in the rain or the wet tires in the dry, it will bite you.
Yep. So the only driver we have left to get across the line now is Pat Eaton, and he is through Saxkurve now, so he is very close to getting there.
And you have to give him a hand, because he was actually one of the first to go off the track, and he was way behind.
Yeah, but he stuck with it.
And over the finish.
And over the finish line. Yep.
Well, that's all.
Awesome stuff. Well, that was rather entertaining.
Yeah, you can't deny this was an entertaining race. The weather had almost everything to say.
Yep.
The strategies, some of them were good, some of them were not so good.
Yeah. Someone, Steve, was waiting a bit for weather that didn't come.
Yeah. And in the end, the one who is most familiar with the terrible weather conditions, it was a Norwegian. He won the race.
Yeah. Yep. He did. Well, that I think that concludes pretty much what we have on offer tonight.
Yeah.
We will be back with some more rFactor 2 Club racing, where we will both be racing on Thursday.
I hope so.
Yeah, with the GT Revival cars at Mosport for the Mosport Historic Festival.
Yeah. I've just started making my livery today.
Yeah.
I don't remember which car, but I think it was a Corvette.
that's even better. Just don't make a livery for the Mustang, because that's a car that we won't be using.
Yeah, I heard. So I think it was the Corvette I was going to make a livery for. And you know me, it will be something weird.
Yeah. There's a great possibility of that. Well, I think that will be everything for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Joachim, for joining me in the booth for this.
Thank you for having me here.
Our first broadcast together for 10, 12 years or thereabouts.
Between 10 and 15 years or so.
Yep.
And if Edward is going to host more of these races, who knows? Might be back.
Yeah, well, it depends a bit on my schedule, to be honest. But yep. Right, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your, what is it today? Monday.
Yeah, Monday evening.
Yep, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
keep this moving, yeah, let's start it on 3. Turn up the temperature to 90 degrees. I'll make my stance. You take your chances on me.